Hello and welcome to the Nicky Knuckles Show, 1230 News Talk, WFAS AM Radio. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Mercedes-Benz of White Plains, Westchester Boxing Club, where we're shooting this show. You can watch this on YouTube, or you can go onto the WFAS AM website and you can check it out there. And we're also on Periscope and Twitter, Facebook. So if you'd like to advertise on the show, or if you have any questions or comments, you can give us a call at 914-329-6287 and tune in every week at 12:05 p.m. on Saturdays for the next episode. Today we have former WBO welterweight world champ Larry Barnes, a hometown favorite here, hailing from Mount Vernon, New York. Larry, thank you very much for coming on the show, buddy.
Thank you for having me, Nick. I'm glad to be here this evening.
So Larry, we got a lot to talk about, man. I think some exciting news that you and I need to mention is we're going to be working with a future world champ, a guy named Luis the Lion Garcia, 12-0 with 9 knockouts as a pro, and we just acquired him the other day, and I'm happy you and I are going to be training him, and it's going to be great to give him an opportunity to do what you've done. And the other thing that I wanted to mention was yesterday was your 20th anniversary fight in Felix Trinidad?
Yeah, yesterday was 20 years ago.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I was 30, now I'm 50.
Goes by quick, huh?
Too quick.
So, you fought 3 former world champs, Yuri Boy Campos, Felix Trinidad, Sol Mambi, and those were your only 3 losses out of how many fights?
48.
48 fights, and that was as a pro?
As a pro for a decade, from August 88 to September 98. Yuri Boy Campos was the last guy to beat me. After that, I decided to step down.
Yeah, it's a good decision, because a lot of guys don't know when to quit.
And a lot of guys don't know when to get quit. They always think about one more. That's when you get hurt, one more. That might be one punch too many. So I got out in the nick of time.
Well, I think that was a smart move on your part, and now you're a boxing trainer at Westchester Boxing Club here in White Plains, where we're filming this from, and bringing your skill, your talent, and passing it on to the next generation. As far as your abilities as a boxing trainer, you've also been, it's probably little known that you were a championship diver, that you used to dive for the Mount Vernon.
Mount Vernon nights, in 11th and 12th grade, I was a high school swimmer, high school diver. I dove under Richie Delanato. He had a great program. And I was able to go all through the state, in the tri-state area, diving, going to tournaments, and that's how I met a lot of these guys, and I still try to keep in touch with them today, 30 years later.
And one of your favorite sports, I know, besides diving, is football.
Football, that was my first love, football. But I know at the next level, I didn't have world-class speed, and I didn't have world-class height, so I thought I'd just pass by the collegiate sport and just go right to the professional sport. Now, I spent 3 years in the amateurs. From there, I went to be a professional. But when that headgear and tank top come off, that's where they separate the men from the boys, Nick.
Yeah, it's a big difference. So, and how many amateur fights did you have?
I had 50 in 3 years.
That's pretty.
It was pretty busy. I had a lot of busy summers. 86, 87, 88.
Well, I don't think that I know of any fighters that are fighting as often as you did as a pro. Because you fought, I think it was 12 times, would have been 13 times in 1 year?
Yeah, I fought 12 times in 1 year. It would have been 13. One fight got called off June 23rd, 1989 at the Showboat Hotel in Atlantic City. But from there, I was very busy. They don't do that anymore. Once a month.
A lot of these guys fight once a year, twice a year. And I think they're just not in a rhythm. And when you have a fighter, I think you need to keep him in a rhythm. He needs to feel that that rhythm and timing, and that next fight's coming up, unless he's recovering from injuries or anything.
If he doesn't recover from if he doesn't have injuries, he can fight once, twice, maybe 3 times a year, but he must be in the gym 6 days a week. It's a job. It's not just a sport, it's a job. We're going to try to bring boxing back here in New York. I think that's the big thing. And I'm so excited to be working with this guy, Luis the Lion Garcia. Me and you know, the kid looks like he still have his traits. He still looks like everything's happening. And so I just want to thank you and Westchester Boxing for having me.
We have to thank Kevin also, Kevin Deaver, who is Luis Garcia's manager, who gave us that opportunity. And I think Kevin's really going to make some smart decisions regarding moving this kid along, and you picked a really great promoter in Lou DiBella, who's doing some great things down in Manhattan at the BB King restaurant, promoting shows down there, and I think other places across the country. So I think we'll see good things out of this kid. He looks like a good prospect for the light heavyweight division. I don't think he's ready yet for anybody like Sergey Kovalov, but maybe Adonis Stevenson next year. What do you think, Larry?
2-3 fights, one fight at a time, Kevin D, thank you for the shot. You got a good boy. In about 10 to 12 months, time will tell where he should be going in the next year or two.
This is true. As far as advice you'd want to give to up and coming fighters financially, I know a lot of guys, like a buddy of ours, 5-time world champ Iran Barkley, many other guys we know that ended up on rough times with fights.
Including myself.
Yeah, and having to find different ways to bounce back. I know Mike Tyson himself made $300 million, and he's trying to bounce back. He's doing he did a stand-up thing on Broadway. He's got a video game. He's making some moves to try to get his pockets filled again. But any suggestions that you'd give to some pro fighters that are making money, and maybe what you would have done different, or?
Hey, you gotta go. You gotta invest this money. You're not going to fight forever. And here we go again. Week in, week out, Shay. We should have a pension in boxing. But until then, you young prize fighters, put your money away for a rainy day.
Yeah, it's good. It's definitely good advice. As amateur boxer, we're working with Wendy Sinclair. She's a Golden Glove boxer, and she works for a company that actually invests, professional athletes' money. She works with that. I believe it's the Rangers and some different teams, some baseball teams also. So it's good that there's companies out there that are looking out for these professional athletes and helping them invest their money so they don't end up, penniless and on the streets years later.
That's a good thing. Thank you, Wendy. But listen, every boxer that's fought and is going to fight, if these guys don't watch it, they're going to end up broke. Every fighter who ever ended up boxing ended up broke. Maybe a couple of guys kept some money, but
like George Foreman, a couple guys,
De La Hoya, Sugar Ray, Bernard Hopkins. I take my hat off to them guys. And right now, Mayweather, he's his own businessman. He's his own manager. So you got to control your destiny while you're fighting, while the iron is hot.
That's great advice, and we're going to talk more about that gentleman that you mentioned before, Floyd Mayweather, when we come back after this break. You're listening to the Nicky Knuckles Show. We have former world champ Larry Barnes on the show, and you're listening to 1230 News Talk WFAS AM. AM. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Westchester BMW, Westchester Boxing Club, where we're filming this. You can listen to this on News Talk WFAS AM, or you can watch us on YouTube, Periscope, visit our websites, tweet, Facebook. I would also like to thank one of our other sponsors, which is iCreate.com, for all your website business card needs. We're back with Larry Barnes, WBO welterweight world champ. Larry, thanks again for coming on. I wanted to talk about a guy you had just mentioned in our, before the break, and his name was Floyd Mayweather.
That's right.
I think that you would have done really well against Floyd Mayweather, because you guys were in the same weight division, and I think that you put a lot. You were a pressure fighter, so you always moved forward, and you gave guys a lot of problems. They weren't able to really set and sit down on their punches well. You had 17 straight wins, and you retired a lot of guys. You stopped a lot of guys. I think you had a lot more power than Mayweather does. He doesn't knock guys out very often. Would you have loved to have seen that day come, not just for the paycheck, but just to showcase your talent? I know it's kind of like talking about like how Muhammad Ali would have done against Rocky Marciano, so we can't really it's not going to obviously come to fruition, you know. But how do you think you would have done?
Right now, money's for words. But, you know, hey, you ever heard of the Da Vinci Code? The Mayweather Code. I mean, no one has cracked it, you know. I don't know if I would have been able to crack it back then or crack it now, but let me tell you something. That guy is a skill set fighter. He's done everything right up until this point. And listen, you know what? It would have been a great fight. It would have been.
I think so.
And the most things about him, he handles his own business. There is no manager. He is the manager. So, you know, guys like me who couldn't do like that, I have to take my hat off to Floyd Mayweather, you know, and I wish him well. And, you know, when it's time for him to get out the game, I think real soon, I think he should step down, you know. No need to get beat up. No need to take no more punches, you know. Yeah.
Now, what do you feel about him comparing himself to the greats like Rocky Marciano, Muhammad Ali? I mean, you know, these guys were guys, they didn't duck anybody. They gave rematches, 2-3 rematches, and Mayweather really did. I think he's only done that twice. Doesn't have a incredible knockout ratio. I mean, what do you feel about him saying I'm greater than Marciano because Marciano had 50 wins, even though Marciano had also had 43 knockouts out of those
you know,
49 wins.
When you make comparisons, you know, it's not right. This guy would have did this in this era, that guy would have did that in this era. You know, he said he could feel it. He could say that. You know, he's 40, he's 47 and old, 48 and old. You know, he feels like he's on that stage. You know, which he is. And you know, hey, I'm gonna tell you right now, nobody did it like Muhammad Ali or these guys. You know, I take my hat off to Floyd Mayweather and these guys. But you know what? The old school guys, they were it for me. They were it for boxing in the 70s and 80s. You know, these guys today, they're not doing it like the guys yesterday. You know, it's not a new chapter, it's just an old chapter that these guys need to transcend. Nowadays in fights, the trainer don't tell the fighter tells the trainer, you know. I never heard of that, you know, so, you know, things have changed today. So, you know, you got to go with the flow. What do you say, Nick?
I just think that you're right. You know, it's, you know, the old school way is you know, it's tried and true and has proven success. As far as you mentioned about fighters back in the 70s and 80s, who were some of your favorite fighters and why?
Oh, Smoking Joe Frazier, you know, that famous left hook, you know. Other than Mike Tyson, you know, I remember Joe Frazier during my career. Hey, what not two better guys to look at when you're up and coming in the sweet science of boxing. You know, they were little, compact, and they were inside fighters. Once they made you miss, they made you pay. And that's what the sport of boxing is about. Make the man miss you, and you make him pay dearly.
Welcome back, the Nicky Knuckles Show, 1230 News Talk, WFAS AM. We're here with we're here at Westchester Boxing Club, and we're talking to Larry Barnes, former WBO welterweight world champ. Welcome back, Larry.
Yeah.
Larry, one of the things I wanted to talk to you about was your training regimen. It was a grueling training regimen. Many people in Westchester used to see you running all over the place. Tell us about that and what it was like as far as your eating habits when you'd wake up in the morning and what you would do running, swimming.
This is why I can't walk today. Really. 60, 70 miles a week. 5, 6 days a week. Clockwork. Then from there, going to the pool and swimming a 25-yard pool, 50 laps in 40 minutes.
It's amazing.
And after that, you got to go to the gym and box, train, spar, skip rope, hit the double M bag, speed bag, heavy bag, stay in the gym 2 hours, 45 minutes. Then after that, come home, you have a little dinner. I used to have a chef to cook for me. I probably had about 3,000 calories, maybe 4,000 calories a week.
What were you eating?
Steamed fish, steamed chicken. It was all steamed in mineral water. Everything broke, broccoli, carrots. I mean, I was 1.5 body fat. And there's a picture to prove it. There it is, 1992. I had a 22 winning streak 5 years after I lost my first pro fight to Sal Mammy. So everything was getting a title shot. When I got that title shot 20 years ago yesterday, I faced a guy from Puerto Rico named Felix Trinidad. The comparison, when you fight a guy at that magnitude, and I was the #1 guy in the world, it was like me being on a moped and he in a Ferrari. Just totally outnumbered, and outclassed, and outgunned. Now, not to say anything bad about me, Felix Trinidad at that time was a great fighter. And he just made the Boxing Hall of Fame up in Canastota, New York. The moral of the story is, you can't fight with a .22 and someone else has a shotgun. It just isn't gonna work.
Well, I have to say that I thought that you were doing great in that Trinidad fight till you got caught with that body shot. But you know, it was just a matter of he was too tall, he was at his prime, he had that reach advantage on you. You were putting a lot of pressure on him. He was falling back on his heels. He was off balance. And if some of those shots, I mean, they barely missed. If you would have connected, he would have been on his butt. And I think it was just a matter of timing that, you know, just like Yuri Boy Campos caught you at the end of your career, you know, it's a matter of timing as far as you fighting Trinidad when he would be at the end of his career or when he's coming up and he doesn't have that much experience. But you guys kind of just met at the wrong time. And I think you'll end up being in the Boxing Hall of Fame because your win percentage, your ratio is incredibly high. I think it's like 98.5% win ratio between your amateur and your pro career, so that's something to definitely be proud of.
Well, I am proud of it, but you know, I hope one day I do get the Canastota. That would probably seal and complete my whole boxing career.
Why? I guess you being in the New Jersey, being inducted to the New Jersey Boxing Hall of Fame last year wasn't enough?
That's enough, but you know, still, you know, like a fighter, you know, he wants more. You know, and those functions are great. You get to see many people on the circuit you haven't seen in years, and it's just been a grand old time.